Hey, welcome back to episode 2 of the Meet the Assistant. Last time we talked to you a little bit about the announcement of the assistant and connected mailbox and all that fun stuff. And today we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about connected mailbox, which is the first major capability that we released alongside the assistant. Taylor, do you want to talk a little bit about why the heck it's been so crappy to connect, your email inbox to
Mhm.
CRMs historically?
There's been a evolution of like all this fragmented technology on how CRMs can access very private material like emails and calendars and stuff like that. So even in the Officio days and the ShareBuilder CRM days, historically, we were trying to use things like ActiveX through Internet Explorer. If you remember, if you had to suffer with us through Internet Explorer, um, that was a tool that most CRMs use to be able to reach through the computer and get access to Outlook and bring it to the internet and store it in the CRM. And then that was kind of retired because that's a huge security risk. And then we started doing this whole like, let's just put out an email address that people can CC and BCC and invite. But the problem is everybody had to remember to do it, right?
Well, and then
Um,
when somebody replied and didn't reply to all, that
yeah,
email
yeah.
chain broke, and then you only got half the conversation in the CRM.
Which public service announcement, if you're not replying to all in an email chain, you're probably not a good human being, right? Like, be a
Unless it's one of
good,
those happy birthday messages, and then you reply to all, and then yeah.
right,
So
right,
there's certain times when that's okay or versus not okay. But yes, I
sure,
agree.
yeah. Well, yeah, you have all these like human behavior problems that this implementation just can't work through. So there's been a long research project here at ShareBuilder to try to make this better, and that was really like, what is everybody else doing? And by everybody else, I mean other CRM companies. And we actually went around and did a bunch of research, used their products, took a look at it. Um, you'll see when we send out meeting invites and a lot of our publication, we use HubSpot, and we got really close to their product, and we didn't love how it even worked with our own mailboxes.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do better than this ginormous corporation was. So that's why we built Connect Mailbox, which is to remove the human behavior problem that I mentioned, acknowledge the security risk of the past, and try to balance all this stuff with just purely, I don't know, thoughtless integration. You set it up once and you walk away. So,
And everything comes in, and it's great, right? Like
yes.
the the email inbox is like the new gold mine of everything that's happening business wise, especially
Yeah.
post COVID, right? Like more and more email or more and more business being transacted via email than it ever has been today. And now with connected mailbox, we can track every activity that a user, partakes in without any sort of manual work outside of, personal cell phone text messages, which we'll never get to that probably because of privacy issues with people using their own personal devices. And if you randomly stop in, but if you have a meeting on your calendar that you set or any sort of email, it's going to automatically create that activity inside of ShareBuilder CRM. So,
Yeah. So you set up Connect Mailbox inside your account. Every user of ShareBuilder products have to do this. Just go up to your profile, you click Connect the Mailbox. You choose your provider, Google or Microsoft today, um, which is currently rolling out to all users over the next couple of weeks as we record this. But you go through and you just sign in your, we'll just say Microsoft account. And then from that moment forward, like instantly, it starts pulling in 90 days of history. So we acknowledge that you probably had activity that you didn't create because the methods weren't there to really make it easy. So let's go back and get all that stuff from the past 90 days. That's probably the window that you and your manager may be looking back at and analyzing right now. And then you bring that in, and then it's instant after that. Like you send an email, you receive an email, Connect Mailbox brings it to the CRM. So we solve one half of this equation, in my mind, one half of the equation with Connected Mailbox, and that is taking that human element out of remembering to do something when you're just doing your daily grind and getting it in the CRM. But then you have the problem that we still have with historical pieces of what the heck do you do with all this mail? Where does it belong? Who are these contacts? All of that. So that's why we're talking today is connecting Mailbox to the assistant.
And you and I have a very long list of dream world scenarios that come along with this. Right. Let's talk a little bit about what the assistant with connected mailbox can do today versus maybe, let's say, like the next version that's out there in development now.
Yeah. So the current version, the goal of this thing was to eliminate as much busy work as we possibly can, and then trying to I'll just say that layer of intelligence decide what to do with every single contact.
Automatically.
Yes. There's the word. Yeah. I don't think we made that one up. Somebody else did. But it automatically decides what to do with every contact. It looks for similar contacts, looks for a company that it should belong to. There's going to be a lot of contacts that are already in your CRM, and it's going to link all that up. But if there's somebody that's added to, a forward or reply to, and they include somebody else, and it's a contact you've never worked with before, the assistant's going to be able to figure out that they're related to the same company, bring it in, link it up. They're included in the activity. It's linked up to the pending, like all this magic happens, right? So it's far less maintenance. I can't say zero. The goal is zero. And the team here at ShareBuilder will keep working towards that. But in its current instance, the majority of your mail is brought in automatically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, the feedback we've gotten so far has been fantastic. Like you said, we've had this in beta for a few months in certain markets, and
about a year, Chris.
A year, yeah.
Wow. It's been a while. Time flies.
Yeah. But this will be a full rollout and release here, like Taylor said, as we're recording this in the next couple of weeks. So, question I get asked all the time, because I think this is a lot of where the rubber meets the road. What happens with attachments? Like, so somebody sends me a piece of creative proposal, I send a proposal, they send an avail. Where the heck does all that stuff go? What are the capabilities there?
So if you're listening, Chris has made me promise not to get too nerdy. So I'll try to keep this high level. Attachments are part of this in a limited form. We had to build an entire new infrastructure behind the scenes to deal with all these attachments. We're going to be bringing what people know as account files into this new infrastructure behind the scenes. I say all this nerdy stuff to really just say in the initial release right now, when users get access to Connect Mailbox, they're really only going to see the attachments in the activity. So that's today. If I can look forward just a little bit, those are really going to be part of some system we call right now CRM files. We don't know what we're going to call this when it goes out, but internally the project name is CRM files. Those attachments, like Chris said earlier, a goldmine, they're going to have proposals and all kinds of stuff. We plan, if groups opt in, to let AI read this, let the assistant read through it, and tag these things automatically and link them up to pending when it's appropriate, the user, the activity, obviously, and the pending. Anything that it should belong to. I don't think Google Drive or OneDrive, whatever you use, but basically in the CRM, and it's automatically importing files from your email.
Yeah, I think it'll be the first time. We've kind of been striving for this for a while, but totally eliminating the Manila folder from back in the day. Everything that you'll have will be in one place, which is great. That's what we're working towards.
Yeah.
So
we have use cases during the beta process where a user who the manager said was like the star AE, and by numbers, they're absolutely right. But by activity measurement, maybe not so much. Maybe they get a little more leeway because they're the star AE and they have high sales. So a little more lax on the rules of the CRM. But that AE, when they connect their mailbox, instantly went up 1,200% in activity tracking in the CRM. And there was no spam, no junk. Wasn't anything.
They were doing the work. They just
process.
weren't tracking it, because that's what high performing AEs do many times, right? Like you said, they get by with that stuff. Or another great example would be, if you have a newer account executive who is, emailing a million, basically cold emails out or packages out, it's going to be a lot easier to track that kind of activity than it ever has been historically, which I think is really great. So we've always strove to keep these short. We're going to continue to do that. I think that's a nice base level of what Connected Mailbox can do today, and maybe a little bit about what it'll do in the not too distant future. So again, always make sure you click the YouTube like and subscribe button so you can keep seeing these. Taylor's going to put together, again, that little slide that will tell you how to reach out to us individually in case you need to chat with us about anything you have questions about. So we're here. Episode 2 is done. So we'll see you next week for episode 3.